Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Can of Worms. Can of Worms is a Disney Channel original movie from 1999. It is an hour and 24 minutes long, and yeah, it's got aliens in it. It's it is pretty much along the lines of what you expect uh, quality wise from Disney Channel movies of this era, but I mean, a lot of them are not great cinematic masterpieces on any level of silver screen or small screen or whatever. But they push the envelope. They're usually fairly high concept, but managed for a kid audience. I mean, it's a Disney Channel. We're not exactly getting um, high level cinema lovers watching Disney Channel. There, it's meant to be. Uh, it's meant to tell a story. It's meant to maybe to share a lesson in a sense. It's meant to be funny, silly, often really just dumb, goofy, fun. Nothing too crazy. I shouldn't say that. It is. This one's pretty crazy. But I mean, you've seen a ton of these things on Disney Channel. We've talked about a ton of them around this era, and some have become classics, and some of them have not aged well. And this one is, I don't know, I'd seen it all the times when I would like search Captain America or something. So CA, and this would come up, and I'd be like, this is weird looking. What is this? What's going on with this? I guess I'll see it eventually, and I have now. I'd never seen it before. I was not watching Disney Channel in 1999. Just wasn't me. Um, but it is story of a teenage guy, Mike Pillsbury, and yeah, I forgot his name already. But Mike Pillsbury is kind of down in his dumps, down in the dumps a bit. His dad mainly pushing him to get more involved in school and gets him on the football team somehow. Like, how do you just get on a football team based on your dad's insistence? Like, don't you have to like try out and like get accepted, and like in order to try out, wouldn't you have to care and have some sort of skill? I mean, I guess there's no bar for entry at this point. But anyway, he's just not good at football. He gets the ball at one point and he runs the wrong direction. It's a mistake. Yeah, it's not like he's trying to be bad. It's just that he just doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't feel like he fits in. The girl he has a huge crush on, of course, is a cheerleader. Her name's Caitlin. No, Caitlin. Played by Erica Christensen. Erica Christensen plays Caitlin. That's where I got Kristen. Anyway, Caitlin, lovely young girl. She is just your average, perfect blonde girl in high school. She has no discernible characteristics other than being a pretty female who is kind. And they don't make her any more colorful than that, any more interesting than being a good person. Hopefully, I think it's meant to say you can, as you watch this, you can sort of say, "Oh, I know a girl like that in school," because I hope every school has at least one girl, man, boy, person in that school where you could like, you know what, they're a decent person, and I would like to know them, and in this case, Mike, date them. He has a crush on her. Of course, then there's the school jock, who's kind of his bully, his rival. They're both good at computers, so the jock has more dimensions than your usual jock. He's handsome. He's strong. He's a superstar in the football team, and he knows how to program computers. And apparently, in 1999, at least in this movie, all you have to do to hack a network of computers is to have a floppy disk like this, like this. Have a floppy. You can't believe how close and how many I have on hand, this close to the camera. Anyway, it's dusty. they just each one of them, at one point, one of my favorite things in this is I love seeing movies that show the technology of that era, because I was very much a part of the technology of that era. I had built my own computer in the 90s when it was still new. I had one made for me, and then I built others and then rebuilt and configured and all sorts of crap. And so I knew my way around computers pretty early on in the modern personal computer era, before everything was now gaming PCs. Anyway, these two guys, in order to get at each other, uh, one just slips a disk into his drive at the computer at his desk. They had a room full of computers at everybody's desks ahead of their time, I think. Well, no, I think no, we didn't have that many computers when I was in high school, but that was a much earlier time. Dinosaurs roamed the earth. But they stick the floppy in the slot, press one button, and suddenly it sends the same image or an email to one computer or to all computers, however they want to. It's there's no, there's none of this, doing a terminal mainframe, but there's no technical aspects to it whatsoever. It's literally floppy in, tap, and your thing happens. It's just goofy. Anyway, I've gone down a really weird tangent having to do with a movie that has aliens in it. Anyway, Mike just doesn't feel like he belongs there anymore, and moves towards I don't want to ruin too much here, because if you haven't seen it, I think it's something you should see. But you're gonna have to make your own decision as I go on here. Because there's a whole lot of reasons to see it, and there's a whole lot of reasons to just not care. But as Mike gets closer to feeling accepted, suddenly it gets all pulled out from underneath him, and he has the ability. He has a satellite dish in his backyard, a really big one that it looks like he cobbled together himself, and it can do all sorts of weird things. He has all these computer components and stuff arranged in a certain way, and he sends out a signal. We see this actually in the very first scene, and then we flash back to what led to it. But he sends out a signal to outer space as he yells into the sky, as if it somehow would connect with the satellite dish, like a boy yelling. Anyway, he says, "I don't want to be here anymore. I don't belong on this planet." He basically thinks he's an alien. He was never meant to be here. He's good at storytelling, and he's good at making up these stories about aliens. And he basically paraphrased Superman's story when he's telling his story to a little kid, like, "Oh, well, their planets are being attacked by other aliens, and then the mother has to they're trying to protect her baby, and so she puts the baby in a pot." And like, wait, you're just telling the Superman story. Come on. And this kid is like, "This is the greatest story I've ever heard." Yeah, no, it's Superman. With maybe the baby doesn't get superpowers when he comes to Earth, but but it gives you the idea that maybe Mike is onto something. Is he an alien? Is that why he doesn't fit in? And I think it taps into an idea that a lot of kids who don't feel a part of, say, the social structure, the perceived top social structure in their school or anywhere in their community and things like that, where if they feel lonely, they feel like they don't fit in, and this is very much taps into that emotion. And I think kids would really connect with Mike in that sense, and going, "Hey, you know what? I felt that way too. Maybe I'm an alien. I feel like an alien." So yeah, Mike. I mean, Mike has friends. He has a best friend played by Adam Wiley. You'll recognize the kid. He's been in a ton of stuff. I can't remember what, but I could tap on his picture right now and find out. But why make this video any longer than it needs to be? Anyway, he does have friends. He has family who cares for him. Like the required goofy parents in any Disney movie, where they just overact. They chew the scenery. It's fun. It's silly. It's kids. It's basically they're like all parents in most Disney films. The parents are required to do something that makes the kids embarrassed. Like, "Oh my God, I can't believe mom and dad are dancing," like stuff like that. It's just the way it is. So yeah, and he has a little sister who's obnoxious but also needs him to help her with her homework, and there's all sorts of little dynamics here and there. So he doesn't fully realize what he actually has, despite the fact that he doesn't. It's a struggle to get by in school with the people that he has to deal with, and he doesn't necessarily get the attention of the girls he likes at first. So, what happens when he sends out that message? Well, that's one of many things that show up. One of which is not he's not playing this part, but Malcolm McDowell shows up in a voice box that has blue lips that move, hanging on a pendant around a scruffy dog's neck. Okay, sure. So basically, Malcolm McDowell just had to go into a recording studio and record all of his lines. That's it. Good for him. Good paycheck. Uh, you didn't have to dress up as a dog in a dog costume, or you didn't have to wander around or anything. Do any acting or put on any dress up for anything. He could have easily played an alien. He has played an alien before, hasn't he? Of course he has, but he didn't have to. They put a dog with a collar that has lights and moving blue lips. A little creepy, super creepy, and he does freak out when he meets this dog. But he's the first of many, one of which is this guy. He doesn't know who to trust, but suddenly, now that the aliens of the universe know that there's a smart enough intelligence on planet Earth that can communicate with them, everybody across the galaxy starts coming to town, and for different reasons. And they want to meet Mike. And they're ready. You got lawyers, agents, zookeepers. You got all sorts of people showing up going, you know what? Earth is ripe for conquest, but not the kind that you usually get with warlords who just want to destroy everything. They want to take advantage for profit. And yeah, it leads to a lot of really creepy aliens just being slimy, literally in some cases slimy. It's it's really silly, it's really goofy, but one of the great things is that all the aliens are puppets. It's very puppety. I tried to look to see if this was a Jim Henson related thing or not, and you'd think it would be, but I can't. It was filmed in Vancouver, in Canada, but I can't tell that it had anything to do with Jim Henson, but it had some really good, like, the aliens looked cool. The aliens looked just and weird enough to be aliens. I mean, it's not 100%, and I don't know if it's necessarily. Okay, wait. Sweet, but no. Okay, somebody's comment was sweet, but no Jim Henson. Yeah, it's not a Jim Henson thing. Okay, that's confirmed. I was gonna be like, it's not Jim Henson quality, and then turn out it is actually Jim Henson. No, it's not Jim Henson, but it works out. It's done well. The aliens have a lot of great texture and movement and everything else that they kind of studied the work of Jim Henson. Come on, how could you not? But yeah, it's they're not Muppets, but it's kind of crazy to imagine what it would happen if it had been the Jim Henson crew. These guys did great. I actually, it's one of my more enjoyable pieces of this because they're not just dealing with digital characters, and yes, there's a lot of really bad digital effects in this. And actually, I shouldn't say really bad. I should say digital effects that are reflective of that era of digital effects on television. Yeah, you're not going to get. It's 1999. It's not going to be Phantom Menace. It's not going to be The Matrix. It is going to be the Disney Channel. And no matter how much money Disney has, it doesn't mean that they're going to spend all their money on an hour and a half movie about a kid who meets puppet aliens. No, it's just not going to happen. The sets are great. There's actual physical sets. I don't want to spoil too much, but I mean, there's stuff that looks really real, and it's not digital. Again, same with the puppets and effects. It's all done very lightheartedly how these are depicted, although some of them seem a little racist. I don't know. Just you can watch it and tell me if any of the Hollywood style agent aliens seem a little bit too on the nose, let's just say. Yeah, I'm not going to get any as actually one, it's a bad joke, and it might be just as racist. Anyway, yeah, it's one part where I'm getting a little uncomfortable. I'm like, what? Who are you trying to depict here? Anyway, it's lawyers and agents and everything else looking to give Mike his big break and get him off that planet. Some aliens don't give him a choice. So, yeah, and Malcolm McDowell, Barnabas is his name. Now, biblically speaking, Barnabas was a thief. He was one of the guys on the cross next to Jesus. To me, using the name Barnabas, having him be an alien who hangs on a pendant around a dog's neck, I would have made Barnabas not an ally, in a sense, where, yeah, Barnabas, it would have been a kind of thing where, you if you're going to trick a guy into connecting with you, have him be a puppy dog, have him be a dog. You're like, I can connect with that dog. I would want to be friends with that dog. But then it turns out that the alien that's controlling him is evil. Well, I'm going to ruin that. That's not the case. Barnabas is a real deal. He's a good guy. But to me, that would have been a great twist had this been a bigger movie. And I think there would have been too many movies, I think, to do that. So too much of it would be a much bigger movie, I think, if they would have done some dramatic turns like that. But either way, it's a good, weird time. Don't expect it to be like mind-blowing, but I have a feeling there's a bit of a cult following for this. I could be wrong. It's not going to blow your mind. The acting and the special effects are not going to blow your mind at all. But it's a nice, like I always like to say this, it's a nice product of its time, and it's good to see kind of the technology of that era showing off. That's what draws my eye. That's just me. But yeah, it's a pretty decent cast. It flows pretty well. I can't really say a lot of bad things about it. It's not a great film, but it's not bad. I say you give it a shot. If you haven't seen a Disney movie from 1999 in a while, and you want to see how a 23-year-old movie has aged, give it a shot. Give it a shot. I wonder if they should make a remake of this, and then make that Malcolm McDowell character be evil, because you're going to trick me. You're going to trick me with a dog, because I'm going to befriend that dog. And you're going to be like, oh, crap. The alien that was controlling him was trying to get at me this whole time. Call me, Disney guys who are remaking a Can of Worms. I can really work that. I can really break that story for you. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
630.
It just took way too long to say it out loud. Come on. Ooh, got real close. Okay. All right. It's a movie. And I think it's fairly new. I might have to do with horses again. I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe it's old. But I've seen it on here before. It's in the W's. We're going to be watching Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that. Bye.